Good afternoon. Welcome to the second Naples Month Group meeting of this season. And today we have with us Mitch, who canceled his trip out to Utah to be with us.
Yes.
To review the announcements from Apple.
I just had a discussion with Tim last night, so I'm all to date.
And we're waiting for the Apple truck momentarily.
Anybody who attends today gets a new iWatch. We're waiting for the truck to come now, so if it's not here when the meeting's over, well, I don't know what to say. George is the one who arranged this. A few gentlemen in the group, I won't say who they are, but they're older than me, who sent me a mock-up of me preparing for the meeting, and I wanted to display that. My wife is actually here somewhere in the room, and she would probably agree that that looks like me except the hair.
You got shorts like that?
Close. And all I can say to whoever sent this to me is at least I'm awake at my desk. Okay, well, it was a big announcement yesterday, and we're going to show a lot of videos and answer questions that you might have, as many of them as possible. So I'm going to get to that, and the first one that I want to present, you'll recognize one of the characters is Chris Breen, and they do Macworld did first I got to ask, how many people actually watched the announcement on their iPad or television? Okay.
Did anybody have sound?
Yes.
I had no sound.
Yeah, it was interrupted. It was not the greatest. But several people here did watch the announcement. Okay. How many watched it more than once? Okay. How many watched it more than twice? Okay. How many people can't remember how many times they watched it? Good. Okay.
You are older than you thought.
Yeah, I know. So anyhow, I did spent a considerable amount of time last night reviewing a lot of videos out there and trying to pick the best ones that would give everybody a good flavor for this. And this first one's a good one to start with.
A truly great product is ultimately defined by the integration of its hardware and software. Developing an iPhone with a larger and more advanced display launched one of the most significant design and engineering efforts since we introduced the original product. With a 4.7-inch display, iPhone 6 becomes taller and wider. We made the design dramatically thinner while developing a smooth, continuous surface that is comfortable to both hold and use. We're also introducing iPhone 6 Plus with a larger 5.5-inch display. And with the same continuous surfaces and seamless material transitions as iPhone 6, it's very thin. By creating iPhone 6 and iOS 8 together, we've optimized the physical design to enhance software features. The cover glass extends beyond the top surface to seamlessly join the aluminium unibody. The result is hardware and software defining a truly singular experience.
The way people experience their iPhone has always stayed. So we wouldn't introduce a larger display until we could make one that was great. The Retina HD display is the most advanced iPhone display we've ever designed. On this high-resolution screen, you can see deeper blacks and sharper text. With new dual-domain pixels, you see more accurate color at wider viewing angles. To deliver these qualities, we implemented an advanced process called photo alignment. better aligned pixels deliver a superior viewing experience. The new state-of-the-art Apple-designed A8 chip continues our legacy of designing powerful and power-efficient chips. It features second-generation 64-bit desktop-class architecture. The new chip is smaller, yet it's faster, and it's got better graphics while also being more energy efficient. So you can do more for longer periods of time without compromising performance or battery life. We've added an M8 Motion coprocessor, which works in a low-power mode to efficiently measure your fitness activity throughout the day. And with the addition of a barometer, it can even track the elevation you gain while you're doing things like climbing stairs.
iPhone is the world's most popular camera. So we feel responsibility to continue improving the experience of taking photos and making videos with iPhone 6. The 8-megapixel iSight camera has a new sensor featuring focus pixels, which provide a better, faster focus. A new exposure control in iOS 8 lets you adjust shots before you take them for improved color and detail. iPhone 6 Plus features optical image stabilization. This uses a gyroscope to compensate for the movement of your hand.
I'll stop there for a second. The only difference between the big iPhone, the iPhone Plus, and the iPhone 6 is this additional, both of them have some stabilization built into the device, but the big one has a much more sophisticated stabilization for, taking action shots and so on. So that's what you're talking about.
That's the
The
only.
resolution is different.
Software.
What's that?
The resolution?
Resolution
The
is,
screen resolution?
the screen resolution is different too, but
Because
they're
the-
both,
the
but they're
plus
both
is
retinal.
TV.
Yeah, but they're both retinal, so you couldn't see that difference.
The plus is the TV, the HD TV, equivalent to the HD TV resolution.
I got that the other one was too, but you didn't?
It's small.
Okay, it's smaller, okay. Those are the two differences.
That intelligently fuses short and long exposures to create sharper images. With more people relying on their iPhone for taking video, we've added more advanced video capabilities to iPhone 6. The new camera shoots beautiful 1080p HD video at 60 frames per second. Continuous autofocus provides constant focus as you capture your video. Cinematic video stabilization helps your shot remain steady. And you can capture amazing super slow motion video at 240 frames per second.
Better buy the 64 gig one if you're gonna do a lot of that.
An all-new time-lapse mode allows you to create videos with one simple touch. With iPhone 6, you can shoot HD video and then watch your stunning results on the Retina HD display. With iPhone 6, we're introducing Apple Pay, a fast, easy, secure mobile payment system. It's much better than carrying around cash and credit cards. You simply pay by placing your finger on the Touch ID. There's no need to open a special app or even wake your iPhone. You can also make one-touch purchases without having to enter credit card or shipping information. With iPhone 6, everything is faster. And that includes some great advancements we've made in wireless performance. Faster LTE enables much faster download speeds at up to 150 megabits per second. There are 20 LTE bands, significantly more than any other smartphone. So you can connect in more places around the world while roaming.
With iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus, we've taken the time to do the deep engineering to design and develop two entirely new iPhones. More significant than just bigger and better displays The design has never been so compelling, undoubtedly making this the biggest advance in the iPhone since we launched the original.
Okay, so that's the phone, and
Was that the Beats guy in the elevator?
I'm not sure. Tim didn't tell me that. No, I'm really not sure. But they made 3 significant announcements yesterday. One was the phone, the other one was the payment system, and the other one was the watch. And finally, this video did load with Chris Breen. So I'm going to play that one because it's a real good one, and it sort of summarizes what went on yesterday.
Hi, Susie Oaks here from Macworld with Chris Breen. Happy iPhone Day, Chris.
Hey, happy iPhone Day to you. So yes, iPhones, but I don't think that was the biggest news. We kind of expected the iPhone to happen, and it did. iPhone 6, no name change, but bigger iPhone with an added word on the end of it.
Yeah, the iPhone 6 Plus is the really, really big one, and it'll be really interesting to see if that one sells better than the more reasonably sized iPhone 4.7 inch size.
Yeah, it's more than just about size. They've got new stuff, right? So they got an A8 processor, an N8 processor. They've got a better camera. They talk a lot about the camera.
They do. The camera's a big selling point, I think, for these phones. This one's going to do super, super slow-mo, 240 frames a second.
Yeah, something. I mean, if you really like slow-mo, this is a great camera and phone for you, but, you know, thanks.
Yeah, they didn't change the megapixels, but I think they did a lot of work on the software side, the sensor. It should take a lot better.
Right, and one of the most important things in there is something that goes on to another announcement today, which is the NFC circuitry that we've been talking about for a while now.
Yeah, they put NFC in the iPhone for the first time ever to enable Apple Pay. This is Apple's new mobile payment system. It'll work kind of like Passbook, but with the credit cards in there. And I don't know, are you going to use it?
Yeah, I think so. I've been excited about Apple getting the financial business for a long time, not just because they're going to make a lot of money on it, which they will,
Yeah.
but imagine the convenience. Instead of passing over a credit card, they swipe the thing, they're doing all kinds of nonsense with it. Instead, I just go up, as I would at Starbucks, basically, and just go, boop, paid, done, and it's much more secure. It's not only going to work with my iPhone 6 or iPhone 6 Plus, but also with...
Yeah, there's one more thing. The Apple Watch, which also has NFC to do the payments, but that's not even what you want the Apple Watch for.
You want it for everything, because it does everything. So it looked to me a little thick. Interestingly, they showed a lot of women in the promotional stuff wearing these things, so it doesn't look big and clunky like some other ones I've seen.
Yeah, some of the Android Wear ones are really, really big. They mostly all come in one size. I don't think I've seen any of the Android Wear watches come in 2 sizes. So kudos to Apple for making one that'll be a little slimmer for the ladies out there. It's going to be a fitness tracker. I really like that digital touch thing where you can draw little hearts and stuff for your significant other and just send them watch to watch. That's kind of good.
Yeah, you know, and it's interesting how they've done the interface. They basically depend on the crown as sort of your one button. And then you can either tap lightly or you can push to make things happen. It does notifications, it does photos, it will tell you if you receive something from Facebook, for example, but you need an iPhone 5 or better in order to use this thing. I think it looks interesting, I think they look good. $349 to start with.
It's a little pricey, and that's probably a big reason why they made it Apple compatible with the iPhone 5. So if you want the Apple Watch, you don't necessarily need to buy an Apple Watch and a brand new iPhone, because that would hit a lot of people very hard.
Well, today's event, will you give it a thumbs up?
Yes, I think it totally lived up to the hype, except for the live stream, which was terrible.
But more to come. So what haven't they talked about that they need to hold other events for?
They usually have a separate event for iPads, so expect to see that in October or later. They didn't talk about Apple TV or the HomeKit part of iOS 8, so expect to see more to come from Apple.
Yeah, and I think more to come from us as well. Good today, but more to come.
Stick with us at macro.com for everything Apple.
Mitch,
Yes.
Missy, would there be a touch pay app or something for the older phones, do you think?
They haven't addressed how that's going to work. I would think not, because unless it's built into the software. And they did show that come up in the middle of the screen.
Well, you need a new antenna.
Well,
You need a new antenna. It won't work with old phones. The older
No,
phones
they-
don't have the chip for the near field communication.
Oh, that's right, they don't have the chip for the near field. Yes, I'm thinking of the watch. The watch is backward compatible to the iPhone 5. For the near field communication, you will have to have a new phone. So you have to have a new phone.
Do I dare ask what near-field communication means?
I forget what the acronym stands for, do you?
Near-field communication.
That's it,
It's
NFC.
like the car key you have, you don't have to carry the car
Oh,
key.
okay.
As long as you're close enough, there is transmission, but the distance.
Thank
But
you.
what does the acronym stand for?
Near-field communication.
Near field communications, yeah, okay.
You said it. Sorry, I was.
Okay. So I think that the payment thing is going to be really neat, and I've got a little bit more to show on that, but you will have to have the new phone to do that because of the chip. You won't for the watch. For the watch will work with an iPhone 5 going forward.
Well, what about, I know that tons of people are using their phones now at Starbucks. to pay.
Yes, yes.
So that, I mean,
But that, what they're actually doing is I use it, and it actually swipes a barcode.
okay.
So, I'll bring that up and I'll show that to you.
You don't have to take out your wallet and credit card.
No.
or anything.
Yeah, right.
Well, all you do is, you get this page, and then you hit pay, and this barcode comes up. And then you swipe that at Starbucks, and you're done.
Now, if you drive through the window, I think you have to give it to the girl.
Give it to the girl,
Who
and
it-
and she swipes it for you right there.
Are they the only ones doing
What's
it?
that?
Is that the only place you can do it?
There's some others that are out there, but I'll tell you, Starbucks has this down.
Airline,
Yeah.
Yeah, the airlines have it, and the airlines, it works rather well.
Charter uses it with the handheld scanner.
I might even have an airline one on here. The airline one you can just download, put it to Passport. And yeah, there's my last one I flew in this morning. And you just literally, when you go up to security, you hold your phone right there and you're on. And when you get to the gate and you want to get on the plane, you just go like this and it's on. And somebody said, well, what happens if the internet's down? This is in your phone already, so it works in airplane mode once you download it.
Does this provide any additional security measures?
In terms of the boarding pass,
No, I meant in terms of using your credit card.
oh, yes, and we're going to go over that. It does, because the credit cards, when you put them in, they're actually encrypted, and then Apple doesn't know your credit card, and nor do they want to, and they'll make that clear in the video I'm going to show. The merchant doesn't know your credit card. The bank and you know what the credit card is. It does not show on your phone at all, other than the way you initially get it in is take a picture of your credit card, you verify everything with the bank. It's somehow encrypted onto the device, and it does not show again. And if you lose your phone, you can, and you're afraid somebody might get in and use your credit card, even though it has to be activated with your fingerprint, you can erase all that information remotely, and it doesn't require you to get a new credit card. Yes.
And there's one more thing, each transaction has a unique code associated with it. So if you use it 3 times, the information that is sent over the network is different for each time that you use it.
Exactly, and that's very important. So it's very secure. I was very impressed with the security that they that they mentioned. Yes.
Hi, Mitch. Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Can you store multiple credit cards?
Yes.
Yes.
You'll be able to store all 25 of your credit cards. Except the
That's
one,
all?
except the one I lifted when you came in the door. Okay.
I think that was probably the most significant part of the whole presentation.
I think that was the most
Long
significant part long term. There are already, they'll mention it, there are already 200,000 of these scan machines out there that are working now with the same technology that has failed for Google and has failed for a host of other people who have tried it. And Apple has signed agreements with a lot of major retailers and restaurants. They'll mention it here, but all McDonald's, including the drive-thru, are going to have it. I know everybody here dines there regularly. Nordstrom's is going to have it. Macy's is going to have it. So, Walgreens, Panera. So a lot of these retailers are jumping on board, and they, I imagine it's going to be like with credit cards. I mean, I know all of us can remember way back when they didn't work in a lot of places, and they had it taken, make a copy of it, and then that eventually went to a swipe. I mean, it's going to take a few years to get everybody on board with this, but it's coming. Yes, way back in the back.
Is there an app for that, to download that system?
I'm not sure about the app. We'll see you in the video.
I think it's an upgrade.
It's going to be that's right. It's going to be an upgrade in iOS 8 and when it's rolled out in November.
October.
Or October?
Yeah.
But it's going to be, but the payment's going to be rolled out in November.
Oh.
And I think you're just going to, there probably will be some kind of an app where you just take a picture of your card and get it into your passport area. Yes.
Can't do it now.
Dr. Just the technology that they rolled out has huge implications far beyond that.
Yes.
Because it opens up security to control from your phone or your home system, the medical information flowing around and many unmentioned. So the technology that's out rolled is huge.
It's huge. Yeah, exactly. And I think that was the most important part of the whole thing was the credit card. And I've been waiting for that for years.
It's a core to your three items.
Huh?
You said they outrolled three things, but the underlying technology.
Yes, the underlying is there. Yeah.
Is their core.
Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look. I want to take a look at some of the.
Mitch, can I ask you one more?
Yeah.
I don't know about anybody else, but I have a touch and go experience with the fingerprint ID. You know, my phone works with it sometimes, and doesn't work at other times.
I don't have
cracked the code yet.
Yeah.
This seems to be an integral part of the process, is the fingerprint.
Yeah. I don't have that issue anymore, and you need to. I would suggest you Google that because I don't remember exactly what I did, but I think it was the fact that they said, look, when you're doing your fingerprint, make sure you don't, when you're recording it, make sure you don't press too hard, just press lightly and do all different angles. And I know I erased all mine and put them in, and then after one of the updates of iOS 7, it started working for me much more reliably. And I've been testing iOS 8 for 2 or 3 months, and I've had no issues.
Is it true that the fingerprint doesn't work if you shut the phone off? That when you turn the phone back on, you have to enter the code?
Yes, when you turn the phone back on, you have to put your code back in.
Okay.
Is there any alternative to fingerprint? Can you enter a password?
You can continue to use a password. Now, I don't know how they didn't go into if that's going to be an option for the payment of bills. They acted like that was going to be a fingerprint only I didn't,
That's my impression.
that's my impression. So let's go through these other videos. These are snaps of things in the keynotes from yesterday, and but they're the important parts that I thought we wanted to review again today. So let me go to those. Anybody wants to write down where we're starting? We're starting right at, the first one starts right here at 39. And that's all I wanted to do at 39 is just show, this is the price of the Plus, and this is the price of the, where is this going? This is the price of the okay, I'm going to show these prices in a second. Yes.
Merle, I wanted to ask with these cameras, can you control the backlighting at all on if you're taking a picture against the light?
Can you do what?
Control, is there any way to change, to make your lighting better on these? I had a camera that I used to be able to switch to compensate for light behind my.
Yeah, you can you can partially do that by touching on the subject that you want to take the picture of.
I see.
So, you know, if I'm taking a picture of you and there's a bright area behind, it will lighten you up.
Okay.
Unfortunately, and I don't know if they've corrected for this, it'll also lighten up the back to where it really bleeds out in the background.
They really have a solution for that.
There might be there might be a third-party app for that.
There might be a third-party app. There's a lot of third-party camera apps. But basically, when you're taking a picture of somebody, if you touch that person, it'll focus in on them and it'll brighten the light up. Because I've done that in the house. I've intentionally wanted to lighten the picture up, and I've touched the bottom that was on the floor. And it was load up the whole area.
Mitch, I'm not 100% sure of that, but I don't think any camera would do that. Any regular camera would do that. It's the exposure compensation on the camera, but it does not adjust to the difference with the background.
Yeah. The other way to do that is to take a flash shot. If you take a flash shot, it'll light up the person, and it will not affect the background. The problem with that is that the flash on the iPhone is only effective for about 6 or 7 feet out, not much. Yeah. That'd be the other way. That's what I always. That's the other thing I do is just turn the flash on the person if there's a real light background, and it'll light them up, and it won't. Try that. Play around with it a little bit.
If you Google it, there is some stuff on the line about backlighting on the iPhone.
Yes.
I just want to digress for a moment, if I may.
Sure.
Speaking of photos, in the back of the library, our biggest Naples camera club has an exhibit again, like last year we had. If you try to walk out through the back and have a look at the pictures, some great pictures by the club. Welcome to join the club.
Okay, so here we go. This will show the prices real quick.
There's an all-new version of Zap as well. There's a brand new sensor, a larger aperture that lets in over 80% more light. And with the ISP, it has improved face detection because it's perfect for taking those killer selfies. And kids are going to love this. We now have burst mode on the FaceTime camera as well. You know they're going to do that. Now this new sensor, this FaceTime HD sensor, does something really cool for photography. It does single shot HDR. So with one picture, not multiple pictures, it gets great exposure for the foreground and the background. We're also now able to do HDR in your videos as well from the FaceTime camera. So, amazing cameras, both the front side and the back side, FaceTime camera and iSight camera. Both the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus will come with an iOS 8, the latest version of the world's most advanced mobile operating system, and there are so many great features. Just want to point out a few of them that are really wonderful on the new iPhones. First, the new Messages application. You can share your location with friends. You can now share audio messages along with your photos and your videos. And there's a new controller on the bottom right-hand side there that you control with your thumb. So it's really easy to do one-handed. There's a new keyboard with QuickType. It suggests words based on the content of what you're typing. And again, easy to reach one-handed. There's a new health application in iOS 8 that works together with that motion control processor and all those sensors to help us all stay fit throughout the day. And there's tons of extensibility throughout iOS 8. For example, here, notifications where LinkedIn and my favorite airline are all connected and right there in front of my notifications. And perhaps the most innovative feature of all in iPhone, Touch ID, not only lets you unlock your phone and make payments in iTunes, but you can also now use it with third-party applications. So that's going to be really cool. That's iOS 8. These are the best phones ever made. iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus. Packed with features from everything from those amazing displays to the super fast 64-bit AA chip and on and on. They are the best we know how to make them. I think the best anyone's seen. And the team works so hard to make these the most environmentally friendly way. So we always like to call attention to this because it matters a lot. Not only do you see all the things you're used to seeing here, there's a new one as well, Beryllium Free, which we commit to do. So the team makes these just in a wonderful fashion. There are new cases for both phones. There are new silicone cases, 6 colors with a great feel, including product red, and new leather cases, 5 beautiful dyes, including product red there as well. iPhone 6 comes in these 3 beautiful colors, gold, silver, and space gray. I think by now you're all wondering, yeah, but how much does it cost? Well, I'm really happy to tell you it starts at just $199. Yeah. That's in a typical 2-year carrier contract with 16 gigabytes. And now at $299, we've increased the capacity to 64 gigs. And $399, all new configuration, 128 gigabytes.
Okay, so that's the new pricing, which is basically the same pricing as on the existing 5S, except instead of a 32, they've gone to 64, and then on the top end, they've gone to 128. And in a second, he'll show the Plus. The Plus is $100 more across the board. The other thing I wanted to mention is on the iOS 8, you mentioned a couple of those features that I know everybody in here texts just madly, but and so you'll enjoy this. But I've been using that those text features where you push the button and just record a message and send them to people. And every time I do it, because I can do it and send it to anybody, whether they have an iPhone 5 or whatever, it comes through that way. And they text me back right away, how do you do that? I want to know how to do that. I said, well, you're going to have to wait until the fall to get iOS 8. But that's a neat feature. You just push the button and I'll be home in 10 minutes and bang, you send it and they hear your voice and so on. Yes?
Marilyn, iOS 8 is going to be launching on the iPhone 6 on the 19th. Is it also going to be available for the older phones?
Yes, I think it's 4S forward, and it's going to be available on the 17th.
The 17th.
Yeah.
And the second question, do you know if NOCOM is going to upgrade the tutor? Does anybody know about that?
I'm sure that at some point they will, but it usually takes a while. Yes?
My question is, They have the unlocked version, prices out.
Yes.
I saw that. Could you explain the advantages of buying?
Okay, I want to talk about that because, and if you're thinking about upgrading, you might want to go to your carrier in the next week or so before it gets crazy and go over the pricing plans, because I'm not sure what Verizon's doing, but AT&T has two different plans now, and they're really pushing people to what I call their leased plan, which basically, even if you're not eligible for an upgrade, even if you got a year to go on your phone, they'll say, that's fine, if you sign up for a new program, just give us your old phone and we'll erase that commitment for you and we'll give you a new phone. And for the lower end, the $199, I think it's probably about $30 or so a month for the equipment for 12 months. And in 12 months, you can get a new one. You just turn in the old one, you get a new one, and continue paying $30.
So it's $30 a month, but you don't have to pay.
Don't hold me on that 30, but it's about 30. Now, if you want the middle one, it might be 35 or 38. If you want that big one, it might be 42 or something. But they don't want to call it a lease program, but that's basically what it is. Now, the other thing that they're doing is that they're giving some kind of a credit if you go with their new program of like $25 a month off of your bill. I know I'm getting that now, and what they told me is if I go with the old pricing thing of going in and saying, hey, here's $300 and I want my new 64 gig phone, I'll lose that $25 a month credit, plus they'll charge me the one-time charge to activate. That's going from like $30 or $35 up to $40 or $45. I mean, they're really making it unattractive to do this older method. So I suggest you go to your carrier and understand, tell me about the new program where I pay a monthly basis, a monthly fee, and how that works for me, as opposed to coming in and just getting a new phone. And again, even if you have a year or 6 months until you're away from an upgrade, if you like that new monthly pay thing, they'll probably say, hey, we'll just give you a new phone and you'll be on your way. Now, on the...
Is Apple going to do that?
I'm not sure. I was told by AT&T that you had to buy through them to do that monthly plan. And then I read an article a couple weeks ago that you were going to be able to do that through Apple, but I've seen no more on that. It's not on their website that way. So if you go to Apple and buy it like this, you could, particularly if you're already converted and you're getting that $25 credit, which I am, it'll take that credit away and it'll start charging you all kinds of stuff that you'll be sorry you did. So go to your carrier beforehand is my advice, and understand where you need to buy the phone and what plan you want to have. Now, on the unlocked, I read an article that the unlocked was going to be available for pre-order, but when I went to their website, I did not see it. Did you see it?
I saw it this morning on
On
somewhere, I think the New York Times,
Yes.
and it's up to 900 and something.
For the upper end one, 950, yeah. I think it's 950, 850, and 750.
Or something.
Yeah.
Why would we buy an unlocked?
Okay, well, I just sold mine a couple weeks ago on Gazelle. It's a year old, and it's a 64 gig 5S for $380 or $360, $370 if I take it in the form of an Amazon gift card, and I spend a lot of money on Amazon, so that's fine.
So you sold what? Your
I
unlocked
pre-sold
phone?
this. I pre-sold this.
Unlocked?
Unlocked, because it's due to me, my contract allows me to unlock it in about another week. So I'll call AT&T, unlock it, get it unlocked, because I can. And then that makes it worth $50 more. So I could sell it for $380 or $360. Now, so if you buy an unlocked one and you say, I don't want to fool around paying them $40 a month, and then it's your phone and you're paid, depending on which one you get, $750, $850, $950 for the phone. But a year from now, if you want to sell the phone, I can guarantee you it'll be worth about $400 on Gazelle. So it's like, do you want to pay them and go in and give them the phone and continue to pay $40 or $42 or whatever it is a month? Or do you want to own your own phone and decide when you want to do that and just sell it or pass it on to somebody else in your family? And I think I'm going to buy one and go with the plan on the other one. And the only reason I want the plan on the other one is because the other one's not out of contract. If it's not out of contract, number one, I can't unlock it, and number two, they'll charge me a penalty if I go this route or if I come walking in with a new phone.
I don't want to put words in your mouth. You're not recommending to go that way, but you don't have anything against going buying unlocked.
I don't have anything against it at all. I'm going to do it on one of my phones.
Why do you have two phones?
Because my wife has a phone.
Oh, well, so why don't you? So you're considering your wife's phone your phone?
I bought it for her. It's a gift. It's her phone. It's her phone. It's all under one plan, though. You have a separate plan for your wife?
No, we have one plan.
Who pays for the plan? Okay.
It's Phil Johns.
Yeah.
What's the experience here in the group between the signals for AT&T and Verizon?
Okay.
Which
well,
is better?
I can speak for myself. I think that overall, Verizon is probably better from what I hear. And I have a problem because right now I work in Mercado. And in Mercado, that whole area is plagued with AT&T problems. It has been from day one. And they keep on saying, no, they're going to get a new tower, they're going to get a new tower, they're going to get a new tower, and they never get it. And so half the time I don't get service on my cell phone in my office. Even when I'm outside walking around Mercado, I only get 1 or 2 bars. Now, on my iPad mini, it's with Verizon, and I get LTE in Mercado. So and that's the reason why I have that on a Verizon plan. Other than that, that's the only experience that I have had, other than when I'm in Utah, Verizon is better. I know that in Cincinnati, most people think Verizon is better than AT&T, the coverage span is better. The people I know who have T-Mobile from Sprint don't live here, but they're not happy with it and they're switching. But anybody else have comments on Verizon and AT&T?
The only thing I read negative about Verizon is, like if you want to travel and you want to get special, sometimes they'll open up your phone for a SIM card or something if you're going overseas or whatever. But AT&T is more friendly about doing that, and Verizon is not. That, I just read it, it's not my experience.
I can reinforce it. I went into Verizon to get my iPad for my trip to Europe. They gave me a phone number. The phone number didn't answer. So,
I can tell you one thing about the iPads, because if you got an iPad at Verizon, you can go take that to AT&T and they'll put it right in their network. And it'll work just as good, if not better. I've done that.
I'm going this afternoon.
Yes. You can't do that with the phone. With the iPad, you can go from one to the other. Okay, I better get back to this because there's some other important stuff I want to go through and it takes a little time. And I gotta find out where to go next. It's right here.
Place this. And we're going to start by focusing on payments. Payments is a huge business. Every day between credit and debit, we spend $12 billion. That's over $4 trillion a year, and that's just in the United States. And this business is comprised of over 200 million transactions a day. That's 200 million times that we scramble for our credit cards and go through what is a fairly antiquated payment process. It looks something like this. Now thank you. This whole process is based on this little piece of plastic. And whether it's a credit or a debit card, we're totally reliant on the exposed numbers and the outdated and vulnerable magnetic stripe interface, which by the way is 5 decades old, and the security codes, which all of us know aren't so secure. It's so easy to lose your card or have it compromised. It's no wonder that people have dreamed of replacing these for years. But they've all failed. The New York Times said it best. A truly mobile wallet has long been described as imminent, but it remains elusive. Most have been a disappointment or have not yet worked well enough for mainstream adoption. Why is this? It's because, as it turns out, most people that have worked on this have started by focusing on creating a business model that was centered around their self-interest instead of focusing on the user experience. We love this kind of problem. This is exactly what Apple does best. And so we've created an entirely new payment process, and we call it Apple Pay. And I'd like to show you just how fast and just how easy it is.
Okay, your total is $23.78.
That's it! That's it!
Yeah.
20 years ago,
Oops, wait a minute. Okay.
20 years ago when I was with Lerner, which was a division of the Limited, we talked about this with NCR, IBM, and everybody else, that this whole register checkout procedure was so much time involved and such a huge expense, and it was really pissing off every single customer most of the time. And he's absolutely right in what he says. The whole approach to it was totally wrong, and it never got resolved. And what this is going to do is going to save retailers millions and millions and millions of dollars, and it's going to improve the shopping experience dramatically.
And it's going to improve security.
Yeah.
And it's going to make money for Apple.
And I really believe that Tim Cook is the brains behind that part of it. probably more than jobs would have been when it came to, that type of progress. But I mean, this is such a gigantic leap forward.
Yeah, this is huge, and, Bob mentioned that. This was the big part of the announcement that sort of, flew by. I mean, it didn't fly by, but, everybody's interested in the physical device and the watch and everything, but this is going to be huge. So let me finish this.
Maybe, would you like to see it one more time? Justin, hey. Based on this little piece of plastic. And whether
Come on, what happened to my sound here?
We need something to replace all this.
it is imminent, but it remains elusive. Most have been a disappointment or have not yet worked well enough for mainstream adoption. Why is this? It's because, as it turns out, most people that have worked on this have started by focusing on creating a business model that was centered around their self-interest instead of focusing on the user. It is so cool! That is Apple Pay, and to tell you more about it, I'd like to invite Eddie Q to the stage. Eddie?
Thanks, Tim. It's great to be here this morning. Now, Apple Pay is built into every iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. And we've got a groundbreaking NFC radio antenna built across the top. Now, NFC is the standard for all contactless payments. Now, you also have the convenience and security of Touch ID. And we've got a new chip called the Secure Element. And it's built into every iPhone 6, and it stores all of your payment information encrypted and securely. You can also see all of your credit cards on Passbook. Now, Apple Pay is easy, it's secure, and it's private. Let's get started with how easy it is. Now, we have hundreds of millions of credit cards and debit cards from customers in their iTunes Store accounts. When they get a new iPhone 6, they can just say, use the card on file. But it's also easy to add a new card. You use your iPhone EyeSight camera, we take a picture of the card, gather all the information, go to your bank, and verify that that's your card, and we add it right to Passbook. And now, with just a touch, you've paid. It's that fast, it's that easy. And we've also integrated security throughout both the hardware and software in a way that only Apple can. So when you add a new credit card, we don't store the credit card number and we don't give it to the merchant. We create a device-only account number and we store it safely in the Secure Element. And each time you pay, we use a one-time payment number along with a dynamic security code. So you no longer have the static code in the back of your plastic card. And if your iPhone is lost or stolen, you can use Find My iPhone and suspend all of the payments from that device. And again, because the credit card isn't stored on the device, there's no need to cancel your credit card. Now, security is at the core of Apple Pay, but so is privacy. We are not in the business of collecting your data. And so when you go to a physical location and use Apple Pay, Apple doesn't know what you bought, where you bought it, or how much you paid for it. The transaction is between you, the merchant, and your bank. And
That's very important. There was a subtle punch in the gut to Google and to Amazon that traces, and Facebook that traces everything you do.
And it is to every retailer.
Yes.
There's Target and Best Buy, they all want to know what you bought.
Yeah, exactly. And Apple's not going to give that up. And that's
going to be,
that's important. Yeah.
And the cashier doesn't get to see your name, credit card number, or security code like they do today when you hand them a plastic card. So Apple Pay, it's fast, it's secure, and it's private. Now we're starting in the US with credit cards and debit cards from the 3 major networks, American Express, MasterCard, and Visa. And we've got the 6 biggest issuing banks in the US, along with a few more. They add up for more than 80% of all credit card volume in the US, and we'll keep adding even more banks. Now you can use Apple Pay in the over 220,000 merchant locations that accept contactless payments today. But we've been working with some of the largest retailers to enable Apple Pay in all of their locations. The largest department store, Macy's and Bloomingdale's. The largest drugstore, Walgreens and Duane Reade, with over 8,000 locations and 8 million visitors. Staples, the largest office products. Subway, with over 26,000 locations in the US. McDonald's, with 27 million visitors every day. And McDonald's is even adding Apple Pay to its drive-thru. Whole Foods, the healthiest grocery store and leading provider of organic food. And our own Apple retail stores. And Disney, the happiest place on earth. Now, Disney is adding Apple Pay to all of their Disney stores and Disney World in time for Christmas. And that's just some of the many retailers that are adding Apple Pay in all of their locations. But what about online? We want to make online purchasing just as fast, more secure, more private. There's over $1 billion a day spent on online purchasing. That's 5 million daily transactions just in the US alone. And the process is really cumbersome. You got these long forms to fill out for each and every app that you shop in. Well, with Apple Pay, one-touch checkout. There's no need to enter your credit card, your expiration date, your security code. You don't even have to enter your shipping or billing address. And none of your credit card information is shared with the merchant. We use the one-time payment number out of the secure element. And we've been working with some great retailers like Target to enable Apple Pay into their shopping app. So, I don't know about you, but I'm looking for some Beats headphones. And now, with Apple Pay, you can just check out with a touch. And you see the credit card and the shipping address, and now, with one touch, I bought it. It's that simple. Now we're adding Groupon. Groupon is a leader of e-commerce, and they're incorporating Apple Pay right into their app. So now you can see a new deal and buy it with just a touch. Uber's got a new feature called Ride Now, so you can request a car using Apple Pay without the need to create an account at all. Panera lets you order your favorite sandwich or salad and have it ready for pickup with just a touch. MLB is adding the ability of buying tickets right in their app with Apple Pay. Our Apple stores where you can buy all of our latest products. And OpenTable. Now you use OpenTable to make dinner reservations, but in participating restaurants, you're going to be able to use Apple Pay in the OpenTable app to pay for your check. That's really cool. And that's just some of the many apps that are incorporating Apple Pay. Now in iOS 8, we have a new Apple Pay API that's going to be available to all developers, so we can expect a lot more apps. Apple Pay. It comes with every iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. We're launching in the US starting next month. It'll be available as a free update to iOS 8. And we're working hard to bring Apple Pay to even more countries. And that's Apple Pay. Thank you.
Okay, any questions on Apple Pay? Yes, Jerry.
Just one comment. For those who watch the stock price, I think Apple will get a little transaction fee. So their income will also be appreciated just by the fact that you spend money using Apple Pay.
Yeah, I read an interesting article on that. I don't know if it was in the journal or week or two, that they've negotiated with all those major credit card holders, American Express and so on, that they've gotten them to agree to a fee. The fees apparently are higher if the card is not present, so like online and so on, like just the online transactions and the Groupon stuff. They've gotten them to agree to lower those fees to the same level as card is present. And they've also gotten them to give them a little cut of the action. It's not much. So they're going to make some money off of this. I don't think it's going to be huge for a while. It's not going to be anything like what they get make on the iPhone. But it's going to be,
It's all plus.
Yeah, it's all plus. It's all plus, and I'm really looking forward to this because I carry, for whatever reason, 3 or 4 credit cards with me at all times, and I can't wait to get them out of my pocket and not have to carry that stuff around. And one more thing, we just got time to do it, and that I want to do, and it has to do with the watch. So let me get to that part of this. No, it's coming right up, so it's just this watch.
Apple Pay will forever change the way all of us buy things. And it's just one more reason that iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus are the biggest advancement in the history of iPhones. Now, we've really gone through enough to call it a day. You've seen iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus. They're absolutely incredible. And a whole new category of service with Apple Pay. But we're not quite finished yet. We have one more thing. We love to make great products that really enrich people's lives. We love to
we're back up.
seamlessly. We love to make technology more personal and allow our users to do things that they could never have imagined. We've been working incredibly hard for a long time on an entirely new product. And we believe this product will redefine what people expect from its category. I am so excited and I am so proud to share it with you this morning. It is the next chapter in Apple's story. And here it is.
Apple Watch is the most personal device we've ever created. We set out to make the best watch in the world. One that is precise. It's synchronized with a universal time standard, and it's accurate within plus or minus 50 milliseconds. It's incredibly customizable, so you can find one that reflects your personal style and taste. Because you wear it, we invented new, intimate ways to connect and communicate directly from your wrist. And it works seamlessly with iPhone. And it's also a comprehensive health and fitness device. Now, Apple Watch took very deep thinking, and out of this came some truly remarkable innovations. And one of those was the user interface. As it turns out, with every revolutionary product that Apple has created, a breakthrough in user interface was required. With the Mac, we introduced the mouse to make navigation so simple on a personal computer. The click wheel on the iPod allowed users to scroll through thousands of songs in the palm of their hand. And with iPhone, multi-touch gave us the ability to interact with a beautiful canvas of photos or videos or music or all of the information that we use every day. The Apple Watch required the same kind of careful, deliberate consideration. What we didn't do was take the iPhone and shrink the user interface and strap it on your wrist. The display is too small and it would be a terrible customer experience. For example, if you take a gesture like pinch to zoom, it covers the content, it obstructs your view. It just doesn't work. And so we placed extra functionality in a mechanism that's been on the watch for decades. It's this dial. It's called a crown. And on the Apple Watch, it's called a digital crown. The digital crown includes infrared LEDs and photodiodes that translate rotary movement into digital data. And you don't need to understand all of that. But it's a very simple and elegant and amazing input and navigation device. Let me give you an example. Here's back to the map. When you turn the digital crown, it zooms in and out. When you have a list, you can scroll through the list, and you can do all of this without blocking the screen. And if you
Okay, I'm gonna stop there because we're running out of time, but we can take a couple questions. I think that the watch is gonna go on sale after the first of the year sometime. They're gonna start at $349. I think at that price point, they might get some resistance, but there'll be a lot of people who will buy these. They're gonna come in 3 flavors. I would imagine one of them's gonna be a gold-plated flavor, and I would imagine that one's gonna be pushing $1,000. I haven't seen any numbers on it, have you?
900.
900? Okay. I haven't seen anything that I was a little disappointed, but there are 2 things I was disappointed about. One, it's really easy to charge at night. This battery thing, this magnetic thing just goes right on the back of it. It's seemingly plugged into the wall. It charges. But I read where the running time on battery is, what, 18 hours, Jerry? Is that what you read?
I haven't seen any battery.
I saw 18 hours somewhere, but it's certainly not, they certainly weren't advertising 2 or 3 days. They didn't even mention battery life. They mentioned that it was easy to charge at night. And so that means you're not going to be worrying at the bed, and it's not going to be monitoring your sleep like some of these other things do. So, but I think it is a significant advance for them. I think there's going to be all kinds of things, and they talk about that later in the video about third parties are going to be developing apps on this stuff for this use on this watch that we probably can't even imagine what they're going to do with it. It does have on the back a sensor two sensors that take your pulse and your heartbeat at all times. That it's on, yes.
Captain Romano, can you get it wet?
Well, that's the other disappointment I have is that you can get it wet in terms of, I think, if you're out in the rain or you're sweating, exercising with the sports watch, particularly, but there was nothing that I read that mentioned that you could use it swimming.
I think that the sports, I think I did read that the sports model
is
you can't take it.
Okay. I did not read that, so I'm glad to hear that if that's the case.
And I would be willing to guarantee that they'll figure out this battery thing.
Well, they will. They will, but I don't know if they'll figure that out before a second or third generation.
I mean, they really haven't stated, well, you said you saw 18 hours.
I saw 18 hours it was off of one of these blogs that you can't always believe.
Yeah, I would think.
Yes, Don.
And you find it with Find My Apple Watch and disable it? Because otherwise, I mean, people see your iPhone and steal it. Physically, there's no
Right.
problem, but that's not the case with the watch.
They didn't go into that, but I'm sure that there'll be a way to disable that and to track it because it's going to have apps on it. But I didn't read anything about Find My Watch. Did you?
I should all that.
So, but I thought. I mean, if there was any doubt, a lot of people have doubted whether Tim Cook could take this company forward in the shadows of Steve Jobs, and I think that was pretty well put to rest yesterday with all these announcements. I mean, he's really demonstrated that he can really carry this company forward, and at least that's my opinion. Does anybody else want to chime in on that?
He's even funny. He simply says that I'm excited.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, they were very, I mean, I got a call this morning and the Wall Street Journal wanted to know what your thought process was. We appreciate it.
They actually called me. They called me. Yes, Jim.
I think as much as I think he's a capable man, I think he's respectful of the past too, of Steve Jobs and his legacy. So things like the one more thing reference. I mean, that's he didn't have to do that.
He didn't have to do that. And it's funny because I read an article not long ago that one of the things that he did is he stopped using that after Steve passed, and it was just like I was.
That was in Tuesday's paper.
That
was in Tuesday's paper predicting that he wouldn't.
That he would not.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he brought it back, and I got to tell you, it brought tears to my eyes when he did it.
Yeah.
Anything else? Next week will be Q&A. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.